Hello folks and welcome to another Premodern video. Hope you are ready for today's video because it's a very spicy one. It's a very interesting take on a card that I always loved and a deck that I've been thinking about for probably years at this point. I even got the cards I was missing for it many years ago, but I wasn't until I found a video from a different YouTuber named Memories Brewing Cauldron. I will post the link in the description that I got the inspiration to actually give this one a shot. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing some Living Death. Before we begin, however, I wanted to shout out very quickly the very first ever Premodern event happening in South Florida. So I moved over here about a year ago, and I have been looking for opportunities to play Premodern, and I have not been able to find them, so I tried to create them myself. So we're gonna have our very first event at Prodigy Games, and you can find all the information here. I'm gonna also, if you want access to the flyer, I've been sharing it in the Discord and in other channels, so you can check out all the information right here, and obviously leave a comment down below if you want to know more as well. This right here is the deck we will be playing. Living Death. We're playing black-green Living Death. So this card is a very interesting one. Super cool build around that. It's kind of tough to build because you need to make sure that you are sacrificing or getting creatures in your graveyard somehow, and then you can get them back, and at the same time that you sweep your opponent's board. The way to do this, obviously, it's like stealing the idea from the Living End versions in Modern, right? Like those decks cycled, had Swamp Cycler or like basic land cyclers or whatever. Obviously, those cards are 1 mana because power creep, but here in Modern, we're very honest, we pay 2 mana to cycle for our basics, or 3 mana when we cycle Corrosive Tusker. We also have Ravenous Baloth, which is an interesting one, and one little interesting unlock is that we can use Ravenous Rats and Wall of Blossoms as cards that we kind of want to be playing proactively, because they're cards that allows us to not die, allow us to get value, but then we can actually leverage Cabal Therapy that much better by using these cards as well. So it's a very nice thing that a pretty cool synergy that feeds to what we already want to be doing, and it does so in a very smooth way. Obviously, we have access to Prodigy, which is, if you're playing black and green colors, you need a very good reason to not be playing this card, because this card is absolutely unreal. So yeah, this is one of the best cards in the format. The only thing that balances this is the fact that it's black-green, which is not the most ideal color combination. We also get to play main deck Furnace. This is obviously a way to make sure that our Living Deaths are always better than our opponents. Against a deck like Goblins, for example, they may just get a bunch of dudes into their graveyard in multiple ways, or sacrificing to Scare Prospector and whatnot, and we can try to use Pyrexian Furnace to circumvent that and make sure that our dudes are always more and bigger than our opponents. We also have a Duress to complement Cabal Therapy as well, and one big idea that I stole from Memories Brewing is adding Mishra's Factory. So I had the Treetop Villages in my original list, but adding Mishra's Factory is actually very interesting, because it allows us to flashback Cabal Therapies and to enable Diabolic Intent for a single mana. So I think that this card could be quite valuable in this shell. Also, it's an untapped land that allows us to cycle on turn 2 for Twisted Domination, Wirewood Guardian. So this deck seems like it's crazy interesting, and I'm very excited to try it out. I do wonder what the proper split between Wirewood Guardian, Abomination, this mana cyclers, and the amount of lands that we play in the main deck, and cards like Ravenous Baloth that we can sack to get back, stuff like that. So I feel like the balance is going to be really hard to find out. So I'm kind of excited to give it a shot. Obviously, I didn't even talk about the Cyber because it's just a bunch of good cards, including good cards and some of Ravenous Baloth. So that's what it is. But yeah, very excited to try this one out. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you for the first round. Hello and welcome to round number 1. This looks like a very promising hand. Let's keep this. So we can go, if we find something that we want to therapy, we can go turn 1 therapy. Otherwise, we can just play a land and then turn 2 rats into turn 3 cycle Abomination into Lucky. Okay, so I'm going to go with turn 1 therapy, and I'm going to name Siege Gang Commander, because that's the worst case scenario for us. Hey, they had a Siege Gang. Great. Alright, so now we cover the Siege Gang, which means my opponent's going to be able to drop their entire hand. Then we're going to be able to, I guess, play Ravenous Rats, have them discard whatever their last card is. That's a nice pickup. So no hand. Let's see if we can survive now. That's gonna be the challenge. We're probably not gonna be able to survive that one, I'll tell you that much. Oh, the only attack with this? Oh, I'll take for sure. And now we can spend this turn to cycle Twisted Abomination, get our swamp, then... Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, actually I'm gonna play that one, I think. No, it's actually better to play out the Treetop Village. I think my opponent should have attacked there with the Lackey, because they're giving me time now. I'll take this. Now if they tap me this turn, I can use to chomp and just drop a Pernicious Deed. Oh, they don't do anything. Interesting. I guess we still play a Pernicious Deed here. And now we're gonna be able to, like, I guess take 3. And next turn we can wipe the board. Tap my land, sure, doesn't matter. Doesn't do anything. Actually, no, that doesn't matter. Yeah, that's right. So now we're gonna block the Pile Driver, soak up as much damage as possible. We could die to Gem Palm or to second Pile Driver. Yep, that's one of the cards that kills us. Yep. I guess Matron would have also killed us. Anyway, well, we have some good cards here. Vendetta, Smother, all the Plagues. Maybe I want Dust Bowl. I definitely don't want like these Duresses, and I may not want these Therapies either. I think I don't want any of these. The Phyrexian Furnace is not great, but it's something that works within my curve, and it's also something that I can use to like dig a little bit deeper and to stop my opponent's stuff from coming back. I think Diabolic Intent is gonna be a bad one. I guess I'd rather have Baloth than Intent. Reg is also kind of interesting because it just trades profitably. By profitably I mean I can trade with their Pile Drivers and War Chiefs. I'm also low-key interested in the Dust Bowl. My opponent's gonna have ports and stuff, but I don't think that's where I want to be at. Maybe the libraries are something I can get rid of. Yeah, especially when my opponent knows that I have Deed and I'm probably going to be bringing in Plague. So they're going to be wanting to use like Tranquil Domain and stuff. I guess we go with this. It's like one random Cabal Therapy in there. I don't know if that's great, but sure, let's keep this. Turn 2, we can play Wall of Blossoms, which is probably our best line by far. Sure, Lucky. Okay, I'm gonna play out the Factory here. Wall of Blossoms, pass the turn. And we could play a Plague next turn. Seems kind of really hard for my opponent to win. Oh my god, yeah, well this is over. This is completely over. Yeah, we're gonna play this one. I'm gonna name Goblin. Yeah, that one I'm gonna name. Next turn we get to cycle Twisted Abomination. Man, deck is sick. What is this? 3 mana, I War Chief. Chief of the War. Sure. I guess since I drew that, I want to spend this turn playing Ravenous Baloth. It just means that I don't get like randomly hosed by the Pile Driver here. Cycle on the War Chief. Now we are chilling. Another one of those. So let's Swamp Cycle here. Get a Swamp. Let's Furnace. Activate. And I guess I could cycle, but I'd rather hold up Factory than cycle on end step. I guess my opponent is at 14, so I can like sand in with this Baloth. Like it's not like Siege Gang Commander does anything right here anyway. Second port is kind of annoying. Ringleader. Let's see what my opponent picks up. Matron, Pile Driver, Powder Keg. You have Powder Keg in your deck. Pretty fascinating actually. If they slam Pile Driver, they're not going to be able to get through this Factory. They could just play Matron and that would make it so... Oh, they serve with everything? Okay, I'm just gonna chomp with the wall and then eat this War Chief. I think my opponent was better off just playing Matron, looking up one of the dudes. I'm gonna eat up the War Chief, one of the dudes that kills the Gem Palm. Untap. Another Plague. Sure, I guess I'll just end the game. Instead of playing with my food, I'll just I'll just finish it off. Yes, I am going to name Goblin once again. Opponent packs it in. Okay, on to game 3. This game is going to be tough. If my opponent has turn 1 Lackey again, we're going to be in a pickle. I do think this is the best I can do, however. Like, I don't think I want to play like the therapy game again. Maybe I have Swamp Vendetta, the combo. Yeah, this hand, we have a Plague. We lose to port. Opponent moves to 6. We have Deed, we have Plague. Okay, let's keep this. I really wish we had one Land Cycler. I do like also that we have access to the rats, but double living death, not where I want to be. Opponent moves to 5. See if they have the turn 1 lucky again. They don't. That's incredible news for us. We get to drop Treetop Village on 1. Absolutely fantastic news. Turn 2 nothing. And we find a Swamp Cycler. Man, this is the dream right here. It's looking really good for us. Naturalize gets discarded. That probably suggests there's another one of those. War Chief. I'll instantly chomp. Actually, do I? No. Actually, I'm going to take it. Because now I can... Oh, that's interesting. So if I play Pernicious Deed, I guess I play the Plague, which really limits what my opponent can do, because now they can't attack anymore. Obviously, if they have Naturalize, so they need a green source, Naturalize plus something, right? They have a Ringleader. Gem Palm, double Gem Palm, and Pile Driver. So I imagine they're not going to attack here. That's alright. So this means I can go land. Let's think about this. We go land, cycle, and then because my opponent's gonna hold up the Gem Palm and they can kill the Treetop, so I actually have to. Oh my god, they top deck the Rishadan port, but they tap. Oh wow. So unless they have lethal here, this is a pretty big mistake for them. I guess they don't expect the Living Death. If they're just swinging with this, I'm pretty happy. Like, I'm just not gonna block. I'll just take the 6 damage. Oh my god, it happened. Search for a forest. Search for a swamp. Oh, you know what's coming? You know what's coming? Surprise. So they can kill their own dude. So that at least they can do that. So they can like cycle Gem Palm, kill their own dude in response. So they get a Ringleader trigger or something. Which is fine. But obviously, like, this really slows down their offense. And now I'm in a situation where, like, next turn I can go, like, Deed into something. They drew Siege Gang, Pile Driver, War Chief. Also, I can just go Deed into Pop for 3, which is kind of nice here. Let's see, 1 opponent discards, a land. Let's see what they do. So this is actually an interesting spot. They play War Chief. It's just a 1/1. All of the X2s. Another War Chief. Okay. And the Pile Driver. Alright. So I think what I want to do here... Why just pop for 3? No. Nah, there's no way. Because popping for 3 destroys my Engineered Plague. And then my opponent can drop a Siege Gang. I'm not super into it. But answering this War Chief, kind of important. At 12... Yeah, okay, I think I'm just going to play Deed and send it back. We do have double regeneration here, but I want to play defensively. So here Siege Gang costs 3, and then they have 3 mana, which means only 1 activation, meaning I'm at only 10. Now I'm technically at 8 if my opponent wants to. Let's see what they do. Drop Siege Gang. Okay. Into tap my land. Yeah, that actually doesn't change anything, because I just float a mana. They do play Siege Gang. Now I could pop for 3, but I mean, I think it's just better to let it go. Unless their last card is exactly Naturalize, which I think is a risk worth taking. Also considering how valuable this Engineered Plague is, just being in play. Like, it really limits what they can do. Matron, okay, so this is gonna be game now. They can go look up for like another Ringleader, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't think I can allow them to untap with this Siege Gang commander. So I will probably need to kill the board. That's an interesting pickup. So I can pop it for 3, not for 3, for 5. This clears the board entirely, leaving me with a 6/6 and a 5/3 swing for 11. And then we're left at 12 with no defenses. My opponent should have 4 mana, so they will only have 3, which means I cannot die. I guess, okay, so this is what can happen. I clear the board, I swing with everything, and then my opponent can go top deck a land, and then they can play Ringleader, and they can flip War Chief plus Pile Driver. If they do that, I take 11. So I guess that's still not lethal. No, that's 9. That's not even 11. I miscounted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna do this because I'm very interested in just like swinging for 11, just so my opponent is left with a small board state, and they are forced to use like a bunch of mana to do anything. So I think this will be enough. Like, I want to make sure that I can swing for lethal next turn. The other alternative was to just like play super conservatively and go like just swing for 6. Oh, I guess I can go War Chief into Ringleader. No, it's the same thing. Land and War Chief do the same thing here. There's a Ringleader, and I don't think there's anything they can flip here. Okay, so they just did double Fanatic Lackey. That's not enough. Can swing for 2. Am I cycling an unstep? I guess I am. So I guess I want to get rid of their Siege Gang. So they chomp. That's a nice draw. Tusker. Okay, pivot. We're just gonna leave it end again. So we're just going to basically clear their entire graveyard this turn. I guess I could attack for 5. Force a chomp block. Matron. Okay. Is this gonna be the return? No way. Maybe I should attack with Treetop. No, because that uses up too much of our mana. War Chief and Pile Driver. The hell did this come from? That was a draw step? Okay. Putting down some math. I don't think they have lethal here. It is notable that this does mess up my math a little bit. I'm gonna Tusk. Guess find a green source. Draw a card. Exile some War Chief as a untap. Another forest. That's not great. Now we're gonna end up with 4 blockers, counting the Ravenous Rats. I could Living Death, but then the Fanatic can probably kill. This is 5 mana, can exile 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I need 1 more turn. I'm gonna play 1 more blocker. I'm just gonna have to survive 1 more turn. I think I can do it unless my opponent finds exactly like Matron Sharpshooter or something like that. They found a port. I think I can beat a port. Actually, that really makes things awkward because now my black mana is taxed. So that's not something I was expecting. My opponent may be able to just like exile all of my black mana. Jump on, beat the Pile Driver. They can't deal 3 to my Twisted Abomination, and I kind of want them to, so I'm just gonna keep exiling. Now what? Port for the other black, and they're gonna port 1 more black, which is fine. So I think we do have some black mana, so I can swing for with the Twisted Abomination because that is a lethal attacker. I can swing for with both. I get to exile 2 creatures. Then yeah, I think that's good. So they're just gonna probably use the Fanatics. So they do have to chomp these. They do have to chomp here. These Fanatics may be going face. I don't know. They're going to the Rat. Sure, that sounds great for me. And now they go to my face. Alrighty. So now we end combat, play a land, eat, and now we Live in Death. We end up with 2 rats and a Tusker. Actually, I don't like that. I mean, it does clear the board, so I guess this is just a sweeper. Like, this is not great, but it's just a sweeper, and then I can just win with Treetop Village. So I just Wrath of Godded. That was the only purpose for doing that, and my opponent concedes. Alright, that was cool. That was a very nice match. On to that second round. This is, yeah, I'm gonna keep this. This is gonna be like the most confusing hand my opponent to ever see. Turn 1 Furnace, turn 2 Wall of Blossoms. Ah, Duress. Okay, the fun is over. Boo. Boo. They took the Diabolic Intent. A fine pickup. I guess I'd rather play out the Furnace than drop a Treetop Village. Keep my opponent guessing a little. And also effectively blanking a second Duress. Oddly enough, ooh, nice. Doubly nice. Like, Cabal Therapy on Twisted Domination would be kind of annoying. But yeah, now this Duress doesn't really do anything. Pretty big win. Double win, by the way. Not allowing my opponent to cash in the Wasteland. So pretty big W there. Swamp, which is fine. Still gonna play Wall of Blossoms here. Living Death, there it is. Living Death and Swamp are the ones my opponent does not know about. What am I doing here? Am I actually just discarding the Treetop? I think so. Good stuff. So Cycle, Furnace, pass the turn. Guess I'll play a Swamp here and pass the turn. I think if I'm given the chance, I will just drop this Living Death because Duress, that takes my Living Death. Man, it's no fun. But I don't know if I don't think I cycle actually. I have the land, my opponent knows about it, so no surprises there. So if I play this for 6, seems like a major issue for my opponent actually. Let's see, they play Arena. Sure, I think I can beat that. I mean, a 5/3 Regenerator probably beats an Arena. Willow Blossoms is a great draw. Kind of exactly what I'm looking for in this kind of scenario. Pernicious Deed will be my best draw, I think. Okay, it's gonna do that. Continue to play around my opponent's wastelands here. And I could flashback Therapy, but I don't think I want to yet. Like, I don't know how my opponent removes a Twisted Abomination from the game. Ravenous Rats? Okay, there goes my land. Obviously, if they have another Rats, I'm gonna have to Spectre. So I think I'm gonna cycle now. The Phyrexian Furnace. That's gonna give me more information. Like, if I draw a Pernicious Deed, for example, I'm gonna cycle the Abomination and just... Okay, I'm gonna cycle one of these Abominations. There we go. So, get my Swamp, untap, another... And we're gonna cast Twisted Domination, which I think it's basically unkillable for them. So it's gonna be a matter of figuring out if they can chomp enough. We're gonna take the hit from the Hypnotic Spectre, but we also have some extremely juicy draws from here. Heat Bog. That's a card, I guess. Depletion counters. Alright, they can turn this up to 6. I'll guess I'll do this. Actually, I tapped wrong. I need to get another Swamp. And now I may draw my... I guess I'm still gonna get the Swamp, but I may draw my 1-out Obstinate Bailoff and be extremely punished by how I tapped. Leaving death. Oh, Man, that was a mistake. Was supposed to just not play the land for a 50% chance. But this thing hits pretty hard. Main deck Powder Keg is interesting. So it's gonna be a matter of whether the arena provides enough value for my opponent to just continue chomping this Twisted Domination. Going for 6, for 2, big 2. Fortunately drew that Leaving Death. Treetop Village. Going for 5. I mean, I'd rather my opponent use the Wasteland than not use the Wasteland, so I'm gonna play out the Treetop Village. It's gonna get discarded anyway, so... I think they just have 2 discard spells in hand. I'm not worried about that. They Wasteland now, which is a mistake. They should... I mean, that Treetop Village is not doing anything. It's kind of awkward that I don't know if they have anything that could actually kill my Abomination, so I technically cannot just F6 every turn, because I need to hold up regeneration mana. What I could do is I could just just randomly regen my Abomination, just so that I can get F6 value. Spectre keeps getting in there. If they manage to find enough chomp blockers, it's gonna be bad for me, but ooh, it looks like they didn't. So, my Leaving Death now. I get back 3 dudes. Yeah, this looks pretty good for me. So they get 2 Ravenous Rats, I get a Tusker, Werewood Guardian, and I can sacrifice my Twisted Domination to get it back. And that makes their Scepter go away. Sure, seems like a good enough deal. So, flashback. And I'm going to name... What would they have not played? Like Smother? Diabolic Edict? No, Diabolic Edict they would have played because they have the Keg on 2, so that kills both my walls, and then... I think it's probably Smother or... like any random discard spell which doesn't do anything. They don't have... this line definitely doesn't play around the instant speed discard, but I think it's worth doing. So let's just name... I'm gonna name Smother. Double Ritual Cabal Therapy. Just gonna do this. You get 2 rats, opponent. I'm gonna be kind, and I will grant you 2 rats. Enjoy my generosity. Oh, that's right, there was a second Abomination from before. Hell yeah. Yeah, this was a great line. Excellent. Nailed it. Okay, so we're playing against the mono black deck. I think Bailoff looks good. I love me some Wretch. Library sounds fantastic. Intent can go away. Is my entire deck just kind of insane against them or something? I do want the extra Dust Bowl. Is that better than Factory? Probably is. Do I care about Naturalizes? I don't think I do. I feel like we're just going so over the top of whatever they have. Smother I do want. I'm scared of my opponent's wretches, so I can just cut all of those. And I guess I'd rather have Naturalize than all the other cards. I think so. Naturalize also answers the Mishra's Factory, if that's something that they're playing. Yeah, this is good. Just have beefier creatures than my opponent. We just want to not get turn 1 heat beat. I feel like if we dodge that, we're going to be in supreme position. It's a fine opening hand. We really do not want to see Duress into Therapy, I'll tell you that much. We do not want to see Duress into Therapy. I'm gonna keep, but man, Duress into Therapy would be rough. Turn 1 Swamp into Duress. Please don't take my deed, please don't take my deed, please don't take my deed, please don't take my deed. I think this is a situation where I play one of my basics. Yeah, obviously, I mean, I drew the Furnace, so that's another reason to do it. But even if I didn't, I think I still play out my basic. And the reason is, if my opponent goes like Wasteland, then they get rid of my village, and that's so much worse for me, because that gives them one more turn to find the Cabal Therapy, which is the worst case scenario for us right now. Furnace is a fantastic draw. Just having access to Furnace just sitting there gives me a ton of value, and it makes my potential things down the line that much stronger. Ravenous Rats. I'm just gonna discard this Sylvan Library, and now we're gonna drop the library this turn. No, now the rest is blanked. We're gonna take a little bit of damage, but this is gonna give us so much control over our draw step. Wretch. That is alright. We're gonna take 1 point. Factory. Another wall. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put Rg Guardian on top and the factory. And then we're just gonna go wall into Treetop Village. Pass. It's pretty funny how many cyclers we have, which work great with library, because we are gonna be able to shuffle pretty consistently. So that's fun. I would be lying if I said that I was thinking about that when I put library into this deck, but definitely happy that it worked out that way. So now my opponent can attack, which we will block. Snuff out my wall. Whoa, that's so aggressive. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense though. Like, what are they supposed to do? They have, like, my end game is so much better than anything they have going on. So, like, yeah, respect the hustle. I respect the hustle. These factories are gonna go ham though. Wirewood Guardian off the top. Let's see what we draw. A rat. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we drew a rat. Yeah, I think this is fine. So let's go rats into wall. We're gonna draw our furnace or another forest. So this is gonna make my opponent discard something. My opponent says, got me. Perish. Yeah, that was not gonna do anything, opponent. I don't think that one was gonna do that much. Wasteland would be more annoying than Perish here. I mean, now we're kind of cooking. Yeah, but then there you go. There's the Wasteland. Okay. I'm surprised they killed the treetop there instead of saving for the factory. That's so much better for me. Factory is significantly better on defense. I think we trade here just to minimize damage. The longer the game goes, the better it gets for me. At any point I draw like a smaller or something. Ooh, a 4/4? Can my opponent ever beat a 4/4? 4/4 seems so huge. I guess they can draw another Perish, which would mean I gain 4, and they would, I guess, kill my Wall Blossoms. Sure. I'm feeling pretty confident right here. Hypnotic Spectre, I guess we kind of want to dodge. A rat. Ugh. Yeah, that's a good rat. That's a good rat. This factory was going to do work for me. This factory was going to do work. Get a rats, which we don't really like. Tusker, that one we do like. Guess we just don't. Do we pay? No, I'm not gonna pay. I'm just gonna cycle for swamp. Let's make sure I have BB. Let's see what we draw. Smother. Nice. So we're gonna serve with this Bailoff, and now the game is over. Like, this wretch was my opponent's only hope, and now it's gone forever. We're gonna see what they exile. Tusker, Treetop Village. Okay. They should probably take the wall. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna kill it now. I don't want them to exile my rats for no reason. Man, Tusker busted. Another factory. That does complicate math a little bit, but having drawn a Twisted Domination is kind of nasty here. So do this, pay for this, and now we're just gonna drop an Abomination. Man, I love how randomly insane my opponent my opponent concedes to the unkillable 5/3. They respect the Abomination. They respect it. That game was great. I love that. See you for the next one. Round number 3. My opponent moves to 6, and this hand looks great. I'm gonna keep it. Turn 1 treetop, turn 2 factory, play wall. My opponent's gonna think that they're playing against the rock, and then hardcast Twisted Domination. It worked last round. Probably gonna work with this round as well. Man, it's so great that this thing is literally unkillable for the black decks. Hilarious. Mull to 3. Well, I'm terrified now. Bird of Paradise off Acedia Brass. We may be extremely dead right here. We may be super dead. They go like, they're playing FEB, they play Hermit Druid. I think we literally can't win. Opponent attacks with the bird. I'll take it. I'll definitely discard these Ravenous Rats. I know what's in my opponent's hand, but I don't want it in there. Reflecting Pool. Just keep a bunch of lands, huh? And this bird is really feeling frisky. Okay, so let's drop a Pernicious Deed just to get that out of the way and to not be dead to anything. I'm going to assume that this is FEB. That's a nice one. Do I want to play a wall? Do I want to cycle? What do I want to do here? I think I actually want to play wall. Find a swamp, sure. I really don't want to get randomly killed. I guess I also don't want to show. If I can avoid to show my opponent the cyclers, I'm going to try to. So I'm just gonna play another wall. Library is nice. It's gonna give me. I mean, I can start swinging for every turn next turn. Something tells me that I'm not gonna be able to hide the information though. Leaving death. Yeah, I really don't want to get killed out of nowhere. So let's just go treetop, play library, and we swing for 3. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Man, I'm such a coward. I am such a coward. Another bop. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna show my opponent what's up. Another Guardian. I imagine a second Furnace locks this game up. So I'm just gonna play it and I'm just gonna attack with the boys. My opponent's probably gonna suspect that I'm up to something fishy. Duress, yeah. Well, now they know. Yeah, this was the other thing, right? Like eventually they're gonna draw like a discard spell. Yeah, so they got their information on the way out. Cool. I'm going to assume that this is FEB. So we're going to want all of these cards. Actually, what if I ditch the Living in Death plan entirely? Is that feasible? Because I bring in a bunch of interaction. Obviously, Dust Bowl is fantastic against FEB. They have literally no basics. So I guess that means I kind of want my cyclers. I think I'm gonna, on the draw, I'm gonna cut libraries, bring in naturalizes. Man, all of these cards are just great though. Like the plagues are great, duresses are okay. They're not great. They're just alright. The furnaces are fantastic. Deeds are maybe a little bit slow. Maybe this is a card that I cut. Deed is very good though. I'm just gonna cut Diabolic Intent. I feel bad cutting these. I think I'm gonna cut a couple of Living Deaths. Maybe just the one. And then like Wall of Blossoms. Wall of Blossoms does make my Cabal Therapy that much better, which is something to consider. I don't feel like all in all my game plan sounds solid. It's just a matter of putting it into action. Engineered Plague is decent. Pernicious Deed is decent. If I cut 2 Living Deaths, maybe they were with Guardians. That makes my clock kind of anemic though, which I'm not excited about. Maybe let's cut another wall and bring another Duress on the draw. Let's try this. Maybe I should cut a couple of Guardians. Oh, this hand looks quite strong. Yes, a million times yes. Now, this hand looks pretty nasty actually. I don't even need to do turn 1 therapy, like hope to hit a Hermit because I can just kill it on turn 2, which is pretty nice. So Duress you. Let's see what you got over there. Enlightened Tutor. So they can go get Survival. Take the Naturalize. So they're gonna play Survival on 2, which I imagine is what they're gonna do. And then I guess I go play Therapy. No, I think I take a turn to play Wall. And then next turn I go Therapy into... Wait, they play Gemstone Mine? That's 100% just a mistake there. Second Therapy unfortunately doesn't really do anything for me. I don't think I'm gonna be attacking for a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend this turn to play Wall of Blossoms. Really want to find a second black source. I'm really limited on my access to black mana here, and I unfortunately will be forced to just spend my turn using Cabal Therapy. I think if I find another black source, I think we may be all right. My best draw is obviously a Naturalize, but play a bird. Second black source, please. Almost. Almost, but not quite. I don't think I can stop my opponent from killing me here, so I'm just gonna hope that I don't die so I can spend a turn to cycle this Tusker. Also notably, this is gonna mess up their Gemstone Mine math. I need to hope they didn't find Unearth. Cycle Sligh, which is going to find... So we can mess up if they're going for a Palinchron line, we can actually mess this up, which is great. The unfortunate thing is that's going to be my entire turn. I'm not going to be able to cycle, I'm not going to be able to do anything here, which really sucks. I guess they do have 5 mana, so I think I'm dead. If my opponent sequences it properly. Oh no, because of the no, they need to use the Gemstone Mine first. If they do that, they're going to be okay. Yeah, so they do use Gemstone Mine first. And that Enlightened Tutor was actually really, really good, allowing my opponent to circumvent the discard spell exactly. There's the Pally, get Devour, black to unearth. So I guess what we do is we let this no. I guess does it really matter? They already have enough mana. Yeah, it actually doesn't matter. I'm just dead. Because if I kill the bird here, then Shapeshifter comes into play, but they still have 2 mana available. So I'd rather just... So they float the mana. I mean, them having an earth means I basically have no outs there. Let me know in the comments if that's not true. Because maybe it is not true, because this deck is messed up. But at least we're gonna get to know their entire deck here. I do think it's just good old. I don't think there's any tricks here. Oh, they have this Scrounger tech. Yeah, this is something. This card sure is something in the FEB deck. I wonder if they have 2 or 3 Shapeshifters. But yeah, here there's no, because this is part of the cost, both the activation and the survival pitch. There's no window for me to actually kill the Shapeshifter. And as you can see, they already had enough mana. They still have the green floating from before they untapped, so the Palinchron was actually unnecessary. Yeah, so there's the Trike. Go get something else, and that's gonna be enough. Acroma, sure. Okay, on to game 3. Actually, I realized that this card is much better than if this had been Pernicious Deed, I feel like I would have been in better shape. It does feel like Living Death is pretty much impossible to get going. So I guess I'm just gonna go with like Bailots instead of Wirewood Guardians. And I guess I'm gonna bring in like another Pernicious. Could bring in Tranquil Domain. Yeah, let's go with this. No, maybe this is dumb. Maybe I'm supposed to just leave in 1 Intent. Oh, I have 62 cards. I'm stupid. It's got a Deed and an Abomination. I miscounted earlier. Okay, it did go through. Is this good enough? Probably not. I'm on the play, which is notable. But I lose to Res? Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this. Too many lands. This is worse. This is technically better. So let's bottom that and bottom. And at least we have Wretch. Wretch is actually one of the best cards against their deck. And Croson Tusker can hopefully help me rebuild a little bit. Also, I like that this hand is duress proof. When it also moves to 5, so we have a game here. We have a game, folks. Turn 2. I think I'm going to go with Rats. I find a land that allows me to like Wretch into... Oh no, I should have gone with Wretch. Of course I should have gone with Wretch. Now my opponent can just play Hermit and I'm super dead. Oh, this was such a bad mistake. I wanted to like not run Wretch into a removal spell, but this is so much worse. Like my opponent can literally kill me if I don't draw a land. If I draw a land, I'm good. Because I can go Wretch plus hold up activation, but now if they play Hermit Druid, yeah, I'm in really bad shape now. I may actually lose land. Damn it. Okay, that mistake may just cost me the game here. If they have Unearth in hand, I lose. Looks like they don't. Okay, oof, we breathe. We breathe. Land. Still no land. Also no Cycler. And we serve. And we cannot continue deploying, unfortunately. Enlightened Tutor. Oh no, what are you gonna find? Survival is what's been found. Can we find the land, please? Please. Because this can go find the guy that kills dudes. The red, what's the name of the card? Gidu Slinger. I'm still gonna exile here because I need to, if I top deck Furnace, that's one more thing. Oh, it's very nice. Swing. Now we force the action on the survival. Hermit. We see if they go for Sligh. They go for Gidu Slinger. Yeah, we do this now. Alrighty. So here comes the Gidu slinging. Wretch has been slung. Exile the Hermit Druid. That's the turn. Fortunately, we don't have time to really do anything here, so I'm just gonna play another Wretch. One can now spend the turn to pay Echo, but that's the entirety of their turn. May still be worth it. Just the random 2/2 lines up well against my 2/2. Clean window to do that. Untap. Land, please. Yes, thank you. So duress or Pernicious Deed is the question now. I think it's gonna be duress. Yes. Yes. Fantastic. Alright, now we're really cooking. Now, I don't think my opponent's gonna go for it here, meaning that I'm gonna be able to cycle, finally, this Tusker, allowing me to drop the deed while still having access to some mana. Let's get a green source here. Twisted Domination, alright. That's, I guess, a clock for down the line. Play Mishra's Factory, and I'll play Pernicious Deed. Send the turn back. I kind of do have to respect the fact that my opponent can eventually just play in a chroma, so I need to be wary of how much mana they have access to. We exile the survival here, make sure our furnaces are better. Okay, so that means I get to swing there. My opponent wants to trade the Slinger for this. That's fine, because that unlocks the rest of my attacks, which is obviously pretty good. 4, 5, 6 mana. Trike. Bit of a problem. Tiny bit of a problem. Okay. My opponent's going for it. So they have no mana. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Chump, and I'm just going to pop the Deed for 6. And obviously we have to do this now so we don't die to the Hermit Druid. So this is bad if my opponent's last card is another Hermit or like a Shapeshifter or something, but I was 1 mana off the Ravenous Rats there. Unfortunately, it would have been very nice to go Rats into Deed, or probably Deed into Rats actually. Unearth. Oh my god. Am I just dead here? So let's go with this first. Pitch. Oromancer. Good thing that I was exiling those survivals earlier on. Forgot about Oromancer. So let's serve with this guy. And the question now is, I think they can actually circumvent. I'm gonna name Human, actually. Is there a reason to name... I'm thinking if there's a reason to name Druid instead. Actually, the correct thing to name is indeed Human. Oh baby. Is my opponent gonna find it before I get to end? That's an interesting question. I think it's better for me to just go for Twisted Domination here. Their card could be a Plow, but this is like straight up lethal. So I give them 1 turn to have it. Naturalize, sure, that's fine. So I don't think they have any outs anymore. And I have now lethal on board. Twisted Domination, hardcast again. Let's see if it's good enough this time. Unearth, getting back the Druid. Alright, so that's a Chomp Blocker. Is that actually lethal? 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, that's actually lethal. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we pop for 2. Then we swing with Factory plus Twisted Domination. Man, Abomination! I mean, 5-3 is a stat line for sure. 5-3 is a heck of a stat line. Alright, see you for the next round. Somehow we're sitting pretty at 3-0 and we are on the play, but unfortunately this hand is an O-lander, so it's a no-brainer to ship it. This looks better though. So let's keep this one. I'm gonna bottom the Factory, and then we can go Treetop, when it keeps 7. Wooded Foothills, please don't be a Goblin Lackey again. Mulk Fanatic, I can maybe beat. Another Treetop. Yeah, I guess let's get the tap land out of the way. Send it back. I'm weak to Wasteland anyway. That's a nice basic though. This may be burn. This is burn, then it's probably bad news. 4 damage from Rise of Progress. Fetch into Flame Rift. Yeah, that's a problem. Could just get in there for 3. I think I want to drop a Deed, just in case my opponent has Sulfuric Vortex. This matchup looks miserable for us. Very, very bad matchup, most likely. Football Therapy. Okay, Therapy U. Probably naming Fire Blast with this one. Incinerate. They have another Seal of Fire. It's bad news. It's bad news. Okay. Yeah. Let's pass. Plan here is to like prevent this 1 point of damage from happening by threatening to block. Also allows me to cycle this Abomination. I seem to be in very bad shape here though. Yes, so if my opponent wants to do this here, they want to like use 2 spells to get rid of this Treetop Village. I think I'm totally fine with that. Okay, so that just happens, I guess. Drop a second Seal of Fire and Tuscarino. Then swing for 3. I don't think we can play around Rise of Progress, so I'm just gonna try to race with 2 Treetops. Problem is I'm dead to basically everything. Opponent does go face, so I'm suspecting I'm dead. Okay, 2 Seal of Fires, 2 from Barbarian Ring, and they just top decked because they just wanted to use the mana. Vortex. Okay, so I don't know what they have in hand as the last card, but it's a black source, untap, take 2. So if I swing 3, they go to 5, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to race. So I I guess I kill my opponent anyway if they don't have it. Like, let's say that they draw land, right? It needs to be exactly like mountain or fetch land plus mountain or fetch land. If that's the case, then I kill them anyway, right? So the line is to just do this. But I'm dead to like 90% of their deck. Wow, I guess they found like mountains or Jackal Pups. So they died to their own vortex. I was not expecting to win. Okay, so bring in those Bailouts, Duress, Smother. Man, we have so many bad cards in this matchup. Neutralizes, I guess. Keep the Living Deaths. They seem so bad. I bring in Wretches. Dust Bowl seems so bad. Deed. Oh, the libraries are horrendous. You have so many bad cards here. I think this is going to be another matchup where like Living Death just doesn't cut it. Get the Guardians out of here. And we're just going to hard cast some Abominations. Is that the plan? Yuck. Big yuck. Ugh. I guess I'm going to cut some Abominations and bring in some Plagues. Actually, Tranquil Domain over Plague. Like, Plague is fine, but it's not like super great. I guess Diabolic Intent I can cut. Seems very slow, and my dudes are not very likely to survive anyway. Still kind of mind blown that I managed to steal that game. I'm gonna keep this one, and if my opponent has the Price of Progress, I'm super dead. But double wall, I don't think I can do much better than this. I mean, it would be this hand with 3 basics instead of this, right? I do love me some double wall action though. Monk Fantastic, and the Lava Man. Having Factory is actually quite relevant. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid playing out these factories, so... Okay, there's a Luxor's. So that means I have Ball Lightning. Gross. That's so much damage. Do I soak up? Alternatively, I block here, take 1, 2, down to 10. Yeah, I guess we do this. So much damage though. Now, Swamp, Plague, we're gonna name Human. If they have a second Ball Lightning, we lose, but I'm going to be losing to this Lavamancer on the board anyway. So this means now my wall is going to soak up. Jackal Pup hits once again, and then I am live to draw something like Bailoff or whatever. Really got to find some Bailouts though. Don't really have that much time. Yes, we're going to play Wall first, and then I can play a Wretch. And then this maybe allows to start attempting to raise. Once again, I need for my opponent to whiff. They have like Press of Progress or basically anything. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, but at least now Ball Lightning is not threatening at all. Vortex, I don't know if I can raise Vortex, but interesting. So we swing for 5 this turn. They block, they take 3 down to 11. We have 2 blockers. Lose to Ball Lightning, Morgue Fanatic. Yeah, we also lose to a land. I think I need to swing here. We're going to play another Wretch. But now we do have technically lethal on the Crackback. So if they somehow whiff, which seems unlikely. Okay, they found Incinerate. On to the game 3. Funnily enough, a Bailoff may have done some work there. Yep, I guess we keep this. Maybe cut Tranquil Domain for something else. Could be a one-off Living Death. Randomly Spike. Could be another Twisted Abomination. I don't think the Abomination is going to cut it. Like, 3 is kind of rough. Am I keeping this? Man, if this were a Swamp, I think I would keep this. I mean, these cards are okay, but not being able to cast this Withered Wretch is such a big deal here. Man, maybe I'm crazy for keeping it, for mulliganing this. And this hand would be so sick if it had lands. Even if it had like 1 more land, I would keep it in a heartbeat. But okay, this is alright. So keep bottom Deed, bottom. Can I afford to bottom Deed? I guess bottom Treetop, bottom Wretch. Turn 1 Factory, play Furnace, go. So I can block for 3 now. My best draw is a Wall of Blossoms, obviously. Jackal Pup, untap. The card at bottom, of course. Play a Swamp, they go. The tough part is I cannot really afford to threaten the block. I just have to take it on the chin. Because if I lose my land, I probably lose the game. So yeah, at least I would have been able to cycle. Would have been so much better. More Fanatic, Lavamancer. I think I don't have enough time. I need to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, and then I obviously draw the best possible card. Abomination. Oh, God, that's so awkward. Yeah, okay. Here's the Deed. Please don't kill me. Please, please, please don't kill me. They're even going to be able to get value from this Lavamancer. Gross. Ball lining. Extra gross. Down to 8. I'm forced to pop these immediately. Actually going down to 7. Here I think I Willow Blossoms because I'm going to pop for 1. So being able to block another thing seems valuable. So if they have Vortex, we lose. But obviously I cannot let my opponent tap with the Lavamancer. And this soaks up some damage from a second Ball Lining. 4 mana. Earthquake? Oh, Fire Blast. Oh, okay, they're just like setting up to kill me. Yeah, I don't think I was really seriously expecting to win this one, if I'm being honest. There you go. Alright, the 5-0 dream is dead, but the 4-1 dream is very, very much alive. I'll see you there. On to the last round. We're on the draw. I'm gonna keep this. If we find any land, we are very, very likely to find the next one. And even if we whiff, we can go like Duress into Cabal Therapy, which seems very, very strong. Obviously, no idea what to name here, but oh, it's that deck. Alright, let's take the Frantic Search. If I find a land, I'm gonna feel very, very happy. Excellent. Yes, yes. Alright, library. I need to ensure that the next turn is gonna be strong as well. They found the Seal of Cleansing. Unlucky for me, lucky for them. So let's name, I guess I'm gonna go with Rats first, see what they discard. Maybe they discard the Opalescence, in which case I'm naming Replenish, so it's fine. They need discard of that card waste. So now I get to name Opalescence. And we're just gonna flash back, I guess, to prevent them from digging. Frantic Search, send the turn back, and we know their entire hand. No secrets. Let's cycle right now. Get a Forest, because we may find another Duress, and if we do, I guess we're firing it off. So here we could Live in Death just to put a clock. Also gets back the Rats. I mean, it is a 6/5. It is definitely a thing. They have a Plow. Unlucky. Unlucky. So let's swing for 1 here. I think I want to hold off of both of these cards. I want to wait until I have 7 mana. So if my opponent casts Replenish, I can go ahead and... Oh, they found Intuition. Not bad. So that I can play Deed and like pop in immediately if my opponent finds Replenish off the top. I don't even know they get triple attunement. Interesting. Really? That's a choice. It's not a good one. Getting there for 1. And now we're gonna play Tenacious Deed. Man, I wish I had drawn something better there. Do go for the attunement. They Replenish here. It would be kind of annoying. Attunement, Miscalc, and Swords to Plowshares. Interesting. Okay. Factory is not bad. It actually allows me to start attacking a little bit better. Treetop would have been even better, but let's Cabal Therapy. In here, I would name Intuition. Ha! Got him. And then we also get to name Replenish. Oh man. Yeah, this is good. This is very good. And now we have this. I mean, I say this and then my opponent can just... They leveled me, you know? My opponent just leveled me. And I was able to level them harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can cast the stupid 6/6. I guess I should. And give my opponent 1 turn. They have 1 turn to find the thing. Maybe I should have just Flashback Therapy. The problem is, yeah, I don't know what I'm naming. Like, I'm not naming Miscalc there. Like, I'd rather them use the Miscalc than dig 1 deeper towards the card that actually wins. Now we're talking. Yeah. Now we are talking, folks. Let's cook. Let's cook. Let's do this. Oh man, I'm so excited. 4 mana. They just stopped like Replenish like that? God damn it. So I guess I exiled the Seal of Cleansing. Man, I wasn't even able to rejoice on my Phyrexian Furnace. Because I guess whatever they're taking... Like, the Opalescence doesn't really do anything, right? Because I just blow everything up with Pernicious Deed anyway. So I guess I might as well get rid of the Seal of Cleansing. And then make sure that I am the one choosing the terms on this Pernicious Deed. Okay, that's a nice pickup. Alright, you got me. 3/3 Deed. Let's go. We're popping an end step in case you were wondering. Use my mana efficiently. And that kills my rat, but forces my opponent to do the attunement thing now. Oh, that's what I should have done. Oh, I messed this up so badly. I didn't even, I have never encountered this line before. I never thought about it. So the line was, we have Cabal Therapy, flashback, sacrificing the rat. Then we put that on the stack, with the therapy on the stack, then we pop the Pernicious Deed for 4. I literally have never seen that line before. That's pretty nuts. That's awesome. Okay. So that's either I can play as a clock. My opponent did not spin attunement twice, so I think that they have Replenish in hand. So I'm probably going to sack this factory, and then I can cast this. And I'm not going to be able to exile anything with this Phyrexian Furnace, so I might as well do this. I'm going to serve, and I'm going to Flashback Therapy, naming Replenish. I kind of have to. Another attunement. Okay. I'm going to let my opponent have that one. I think I'd rather swing for 3 or 5. I mean, let's say 2-turn clock. I mean, 1 spin. Oh, they have the plow. Kind of good for me actually, because that's one. Oh, but they can still get the thing. Okay, there's another Opalescence. Now they did ditch the attunement, so I'm assuming there's a Replenish in my future here. Yep, okay, of course. Okay, yeah, man, we were so close. We were so close. Yeah, let's throw this into the decree. I mean, I guess we have a 6/6. So I'm not like immediately dead. Block one of these Opalescences. Man, I feel like this game was so close, and then it wasn't. But that's how Replenish works, fortunately for me. Notably, having played the Furnace instead of the Wirewood Guardian wouldn't really have changed anything. My opponent just had exactly everything they needed whenever they needed it. The intuition for triple attunement was a good line. It ended up paying off very well for them. So we're gonna block. The Opalescence is actually kind of killing both of them, but not really. Wall of Blossoms. Alright, you got me. Game 2. Give me Duress, give me Wretches, give me these. And once again, Living Death. Actually, Living Death may be better than the Bailoff, if I think about it. Pernicious Deeds are really expensive. Diabolic Intent can probably go. Library is pretty decent. Wall of Blossoms, maybe cut a couple of them. I still want some of them because I want to be flashing back Therapy. I really did not like the Diabolic Intent at all. Felt super underwhelming. Yeah, let's go with this. If I draw any land, I'm looking pretty good. I think this is okay. I'm going to play Furnace on 1, play around the potential and all. Pass. Now we're gonna do res. I think I'm gonna take the intuition actually. And I'm gonna need, I'm gonna clock here, right? So I'm gonna need to find something. Okay, cool. Let's rats first. Represents a clock. It does some stuff. Discarding the land, interestingly. Another planes, which we did not know about. That's a new one. We're gonna cycle Abomination here. Get a swamp, play it, send for 1. We really need an answer to this Opal Wave. But again, like the nice thing about Opal Wave now is that it does actually give you time. There's the Opalescence, and I could pop. Don't think I want to. It does mean that I'm not able to, like I have to cycle Tusker here, go get a Black Source, hope that I find a discard spell. That would be ideal. Like a champion? Nah, Withered Wretch. So I literally cannot play the Wall of Blossoms because I die. I just deck myself. So like I just have to sit here. My opponent gets to Opal Wave now, but I kind of have a little bit of time to answer this. I do have a second Furnace, so I'm just going to cycle this first one to try to find an answer. Exile the Duress, another Duress, 1 turn too late. Treetop Village. Play that out, and I guess I'm gonna do res right now. I'll take the redundant wave. That's actually gonna mess things up pretty severely. Again, and not really play any of my cards. This Opal Wave is pretty good, so let's pass the turn. I take 4 here. I kind of have to sit here, hitting land drops and taking hits. Seal of Cleansing. It does speed up their clock. So if I exile now, I have perfect information as is. If I exile Phyrexian Furnace now, I'm digging towards finding another land. I think I have to do it. So let's exile my own Duress again. I may also find another Furnace, which I may want to dig. Library doesn't do anything. Duress also doesn't really do anything here. What I need is lands that I cannot dig using this Wall of Blossoms. Oh, can I live in death here? Actually, I can. Wow. There's no window. My opponent can save the Seal of Cleansing, but there's no window for them to save the Parallax Wave. But this actually does do something. Huh. Alright. I think my opponent's thinking about it. They're tanking for the same reason that I was not doing it. They're trying to figure out if there's any window. But no, this actually answers. So they can save the seal. Yeah, they figure out. They can save the seal. And then the wave is... there's no way for them to save the wave. And now we are kind of playing a game here, unless they find another wave or replenish exactly in this turn. God damn it, man. We had perfect information. Damn it. My opponent said sorry. They know they got away with murder there. Yeah, we're already exiled one wave, so they only had like 4 draws. Okay. We play on, folks. We play on. That was the only way we could continue playing this game. So now once again, they're going to do the same. They're going to save the wave. And now we have to, unfortunately, we have to duress, because I don't want my opponent to exile my Swords to Plowshares. And I guess, yeah, I mean, I'm going to YOLO here. I'm going to hope, I'm going to play a wall. And, yeah, okay, sure. So I'll play the land. And now next turn, I'm going to drop Withered Wretch. So I have to dodge 1 turn. Come on. 1 turn. Let's dodge 1 turn. Don't draw Replenish. Okay, Opalescence is fine. I can beat Opalescence. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Deed here. Again, if they draw Replenish, we're dead. If they don't draw Replenish, we keep on playing. Cycle Miscalc. 1 more draw at Replenish. I'm gonna pop on end step regardless, because I want to untap and Wretch, and probably Library as well. Vault Therapy. Okay, so I'm gonna Therapy, and I'm gonna name probably Replenish. No, Replenish, it can't be Replenish. It needs to be... so I'm going to name Swords to Plowshares, actually. Because it seems like the only card that they would have... Ha! Dude, I'm okay at this Cabal Therapy stuff. I am alright. I'd rather just not draw cards this turn and just make sure that I exile all of my opponent's relevant cards. Attunement. A lot less scary now than it was in the previous situation, previous game. Thanks to this beautiful Withered Wretch. Double Ancient Tomb, Seal of Cleansing, Intuition. Okay, so they're just gonna... Oh, they're opening up the attunement to getting discarded? Interesting. Well, we're exiling all of the threat cards here. Opalescence, the other wave, the other Opalescence. Untap. Naturalist is a nice pickup. I think I'm willing to sacrifice this Factory to get rid of the attunement. Well, let's do that. Swing for 4. Flashback Therapy. Factories have been pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Attunement is gone. Let's play a Library. Pass the turn. And place a land, and now we're looking pretty good, I think. Exile all of my opponent's enchantments. Now we get to start drawing cards. Alright, so I guess we're just gonna pay 4, find some lands, and get some beats on. Do have answer for any of my opponent's enchantments. Not any one enchantment does it here, which is good. Replenish, which does nothing, so they just pack it in. Okay, game 3. Dude. That Living Death was hilarious. It's actually an answer. I did not think about that. I mean, it's a very bad answer. Like, let's be fair, right? Like, it only works when my opponent has 1 Opalescence. If they have 2, they get to save 1 of them. Like, it's not actually great, but it's hilarious that it actually did something. Like, I was not expecting it to do anything. It actually did something, which is kind of cool. This extra Dust Bowl has felt very bad. The new versions of Replenish are like filled with basics, and we really don't end the game quickly. So I think I'm gonna bring in an extra Pernicious Deed, maybe an extra Living Death. No way. No, I think it's just too slow, too bad. Let's go with this. I'm not sold at all on that, but that was a great game though. I enjoy that quite a bit. I might keep in this hand with no discard spells. Fine mana. We also have Library, but this hand is very open to getting cheese out. When I move to 6, turn 2 Library is very strong against them. I think I'm gonna keep it. Let's be a little bit greedy here. If I find a discard spell off the top, I'm gonna feel like $1 million. Another Tusker, not where I wanna be. They dropped the seal. Well, I'm not gonna give them like. Oh, actually, I am gonna give them something to cast here, because then I get to play Pernicious Deed on 3. Yeah, so then we just trade there. That's okay. Morph. Well, guess we're gonna be popping this Pernicious Deed right away. Yeah, I can't allow my opponent to untap with that because, you know, Exalted Angel. Alright, we play on. That Angel would have destroyed us, and now we do get to do res, which is very nice. Let's get our Swamp. We're making progress here, kind of, a little bit. Take one of those beautiful, gorgeous Replenishes. We get to Tusk again next turn. Yeah, I'll Tusk again. Let's Tusk. Get another Swampo. We have Naturalize here. I'm feeling kind of alright here. Attunement has been played. So we're gonna cycle this Guardian Boy. Hit our forest, untap. Okay, we have 6 mana. What are we doing with this 6 mana? I'm very threatened by that replenish, so I think I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm just going to pass the turn. I could play a Wall of Blossom, but this attunement is very, very threatening. So I'd rather just use all of my mana to mess with my opponent's graveyard, especially knowing, like actually knowing for a fact they have a replenish in hand. Double Decree of Silence. Parallax Wave. Okay, this is pretty nice. So do I just naturalize the Seal of Cleansing? No, I think this is fine. Just let this resolve. If my opponent wants to like do the Seal of Cleansing wave combo, I think I'm okay with that. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna exile Decree for sure. I don't want anything to do with that card. And my opponent is doing the exile thing. And I'm gonna exile the other one. So this is like best case scenario when my opponent is doing it like this. Now I do exile the Seal of Cleansing, because this, they're not holding priority. So this means I get to like untap, naturalize the wave, and then we just keep doing the thing. Actually, let's, I guess, the rest first. And I think I'm actually taking the attunement. Man, this is crazy. Literally just leaving my opponent with the replenish in hand sounds kind of insane to me, but I think that's what's up. Now the Reg comes back, and I think, do I play Library? Library forces the Seal of Cleansing. Allows me to exile the attunement and the wave anyway, so if they replenish, they just get back a seal. Yeah, it also forces the seal to be popped here, so I think I like doing this. My opponent wants to replenish to get back a Seal of Cleansing, I'm totally fine with that. We still have a Wretch, by the way, if they do that. Library down, replenish, excellent. Yeah, so this is obviously like very good for us. This Wretch is working overtime here. It was effectively a duress. Yeah, they have 0 cards now. We're doing it. We're kind of doing it. Or maybe doing it. Swing. Question is, do I deed? Don't think I did yet. No, I don't think I do yet. Because I may find a naturalize, and if I do, then I get to protect the Pernicious Deed. Within my opponent draw now. Opalescence, sure. Well, that's something that can get destroyed by the Pernicious Deed, which is nice. Instead, we're gonna exile everything from their graveyard. This does stop my clock, which is annoying. Kind of nice. So I guess I'm play Deed now and send back. Because this allows me to like pop the Deed before if I need to, or if I think my opponent may have the wave combo. At least I can start attacking now. And I'm willing to trade my Withered Wretch now, because I have the Phyrexian Furnace. They pop the Deed instead. So I guess I'm going to exile. I'm going to pop for 4. Now we Furnace, exile. I guess I might as well play a Rat. Ancient Tomb was discarded. I mean, the only problem here is my opponent may just find like an Exalted Angel. I'll literally just cast it, which would be a pretty big problem. Probably, I guess, Leaving Death. That's how we beat it. Okay, let's swing for 1. And I think I do res here. Okay, they're just cycling. Oh, Abeyance. Okay, so I guess I can't do res anymore. Can't do res, and also, funnily enough, can't activate Phyrexian Furnace, which is hilarious. Didn't even think about that. See if they found the Source of Lovers. Savos Web. Sure, you got it. Doesn't really do anything. Surprised they would bring it in. Oh, the Treetops, right. I'm stupid. Of course they bring it in. So they do find Opalescence. They have 1 card in hand. Let's see what it is. Darker Wastes. In my land, no reason to hold it. And yeah, I guess we just go in there. Do I cycle to find another threat? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I don't. I think I pass. Because this makes attunement bad, right? So they play the Waste, and we get, it's a nice one. I have no rats in the graveyard, unfortunately. So actually I'm supposed to hold this, because it doesn't speed up my clock, and it actually is an answer to my opponent top decking Parallax Wave. Exalted Angel. Actually doesn't really matter here, which is cool, because they need to block the Twisted Illumination. If they have Plow in hand, that's a big problem, but it actually allows me to discard like their Cunningham, so we're just gonna regen here. But because this is not actually, it's not life gain, it's actually, it's not a lifelink, it's like a triggered ability, they are forced to block the Twisted Illumination. I guess Savos Web is doing something. Dang. Cabal Therapy. I mean, I can't speed up the clock in any way, so I might as well just swing here. And then I can, what I can do, however, is Cabal Therapy, name, what decree, they would have cycled Decree of Silence, but I guess it's the only card that does anything, just 2 lands. Okay, so, because I can, yeah, okay, doesn't matter then. I was thinking I can yeah, I still just pass. Because now the rats is actually lethal. So if they found wave, my dudes die, but I untap and I Living Death. Replenish doesn't do anything. I think we get there. Yes! We do get there. Wow. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Alright, this deck is awesome. And there you go. I have to be honest, I was not super hopeful when I put this deck together. And it turned out to overperform much more than I was expecting. Living Death ended up being just like a great card much more often than I was envisioning. Kind of pretty decent. Like I was surprised by whenever I was trying to like end the game, how quickly like all of these random dudes, especially dude, shout out to Twisted Domination. Like this card did so much work. Just spending 6 mana to cast like a random 5/3 and they're just going to town against mono black. The fact that it's literally unkillable, I cannot get over that. That was absolutely amazing. And then like the manlands worked super hard. So very stoked about those Mishra's Factories actually did so much work. A very interesting deck overall. Cards that I did not enjoy were this Diabolic Intent. It just looked very bad, like just consistently bad. Even like spending 3 mana and like sacrificing one of your lands in order to enable this, like it just did not feel worth it at all. I feel like I ended up cutting it every single time. And then like the pivot plan of just like siding out Living Death and just having a bunch of random dudes, I'm surprised by like it actually being okay or like better than I expected at least. Yeah, very interesting deck. I think it's, you know, black green decks that are off the wall and me apparently have been performing fairly well. So maybe there's something to this. Maybe this is worth exploring a little bit further. How to build this, like if we want to like main deck the wretches, if we want to you know, like how many discard spells we want to play. I feel like there's a lot of questions that need to be answered in order to tune this deck further, and I feel like it would probably require much more work that I'm willing to put into it. But at least what I have is the concept, and I understand that as an idea it is worth pursuing. Like I have other decks that I'm more interested in right now at least, but I don't discard the possibility of working on this later on, or if you worked on it, I would be like, yeah, sounds good, like sounds fun, okay, cool. I don't think you can make this into a tier 0 deck, but like you probably can make it into like decent tier 2 plus. So that's more than I was expecting, to be honest, when I registered 3 copies of Living Death in my main deck. But here we are, and we beat like very solid decks. Like we beat Replenish, we beat Goblins, although we did get pretty lucky against Goblins. But regardless, I mean, we did end up getting there, and our opponent's hands were like pretty, especially game 2, our opponent's hand was pretty nasty, but we just managed to stabilize. But overall, it felt like quite solid. I do wonder how this would work against something like Dreadnought, though. So that kind of deck, you know, I'm maybe a little bit more skeptical on, but beating Replenish is quite promising. And beating Mono Black, which with how famous Mono Black is in the metagame right now, it is also like, and we did like, it felt like we were incredibly ahead every single step of the way. So it feels like if you want to beat Mono Black, this is definitely like a very solid choice. If you want to beat Burn, not so much. So be mindful of that part. But that's gonna be it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. And if you're in South Florida, don't forget that we'll be meeting you at Prodigy Games on April 11th. This is next week. So have an amazing rest of your day and take care. Bye bye, and long live Premodern.